Bark Bark Woof Woof Happy Puppy here, and I have a actually live, well, loosely live video. I don't have my face mask, so I'm not doing any sort of headshots yet. However, full disclaimer, this video is not sponsored in any way, unfortunately. I've been playing a lot of Warframe, and I wish they would sponsor me on this one, but they don't know I'm doing this. But if you've been following me on Twitch, you would know I'm right now currently mostly working through some of the 1999 contents, from doing their version of lich hunting to just kind of messing around. But that being said, Amir, a lovely Vault character, mentioned something that caught my eye and my ears. So, he said, a shot of espresso, 2 lumps of sugar, swizzle, trying to get it so you can actually see the swizzle stick, swizzle, and then top off with cola. So we're gonna make that. Now, I also have, admittedly, this is my second time recording this, so I do have some adjustments that can be made. But however, when I first time around I made this, I saw potential, so let's just kind of get on with it. I do apologize if my voice kind of changed a little bit. I gotta set down the microphone I'm using. I have yet to actually. I'll be honest. I keep forgetting to grab a actual microphone I can just kind of pin to myself, a lapel mic. I keep telling myself I'm going to order, but I never do. But at any rate, let's get on with it. I will try to speak up louder so the microphone will pick up on me a little bit easier. So, first thing you said, 1 shot of espresso. Now, from what I could find, 1 shot equals loosely 1 ounce, depending on where you're getting your espresso from, or if you're making it at home. Now, you're going to see some of the stuff doesn't have labels or duct tape, and that's because they didn't sponsor me. So, I'm not going to be showing off their product. So, 1 shot of espresso, loosely 1 ounce. 2 lumps of sugar. Now that I'm actually using lumps of sugar, I can see why he said swizzle, but swizzle is not something you would normally do for something like this. Oh, I forgot my napkin. So I don't actually have a good place yet again. Oh, never mind, there it is. I'll bring this closer so you can actually see. Now, I can see, in a way, I can see why he said swizzle. Not just because it's a fun word, but also because it actually helps break down the lump of sugars rather quickly. So just a quick close-up. I know he also said tall glass, but I have no glass that I'm going to put my metal swizzle stick into. So plastic will suffice. So that's swizzled. And then he said, I think it was supposed to be 1/3 cup of ice. And then top off with cola. Now, he didn't say to mix afterwards, so I'm assuming that we're just supposed to drink as is. Again, I had this yesterday, and again, this is my second time recording this. I sort of accidentally deleted my footage the first time around. So, that being said, let's try this. Oh, I suppose I should come up with a name for this. Now, Amir also mentioned that this drink is supposed to calm him down. So, I decided to name it Amir's Sedative. How did it go? Pinkies out and bottoms up? Pinkies out, bottoms up then. This version is not bad. I'm going to say this. So, depending on your espresso, now this came from a big chain, so I would not recommend it, but there's a reason for this. I would say if you're going to use espresso, use a homemade one. Do it yourself. Because a lot of the big box, or not a lot of big box, but a lot of the chains, how they pull their espresso, they use a lot heavily roasted beans. And that really comes through in this. Now, this isn't as bad as the one from yesterday. This version of it's actually not bad. But then again though, for example, Starbucks, they use a very dark roast. And with espressos, you want to go more light to medium. You want to lean more heavily towards light, followed by medium. You don't normally do a darker roast. But it also depends on the quality beans you have. Now, again, with Starbucks, they do a very dark roast, which really comes through for something like this. This one, I'll say this right now, it came from a Dunkin' Donuts that's down the road. I don't have an espresso machine, so I kind of had to go outside for it. There is not as bitter. Nowhere near as bitter. But no less... No, not as bitter. It's still there. I can still taste it in the back of my throat. So there is a bit more of an aftertaste that does not play well with other things. But the sugar helps with that. In this case, I'm using, if I can get camera to focus, thank you. I'm using Demerara sugar. You could use any sugar you want, really. 1 lump of sugar is, I think, 1 tablespoon according to weights of sugar. But, so I'm going to finish this off, and then we're going to make my version of it. There is potential here. I think to me, this is entirely passable. If someone handed me this and said, hey, drink, I wouldn't mind. Is this going to be my first go-to choice? No. But this is a decent option. So, I'm going to say this. Good job, Amir. Very good job. However, we can make improvements. Let's just finish this off so I can reuse the glass. I shouldn't, but... Now, one of the things I have to be mindful of, if you're going to use this or you're going to make a drink like this, you are using 2 acids, your coffee, your espresso, whichever one you're going to use, it's already very acidic. And depending on your coffee roast and the quality beans you have, it could go a couple different ways. But espresso tends to leave, for something like this, you will feel it and you will feel the aftertaste. And the other acid is coming from your cola. So again, two strong acids. And then again, your sugar cubes help even that out. So we're gonna not exactly quickly, but we are gonna switch to what I would do. And because I had time, I have actually made a formula. Assuming I open it to the right page. So, my formula. We're going to do 2 ounces of coffee. Bada boom. 2 cubes of sugar. Don't explode on me, please. Thank you. What did I just set me down my jigger? Oh, there it is. 2 ounces of cola. No, not 2 ounces. Still thinking of the coffee. 1. 2. 3. Not done. 4. 5. 6. 6 ounces of cola. Now, the sugar cubes haven't exactly dissolved, but that's okay. I am not going to swizzle it this time around. That's not exactly needed. But I will take my spoon and go ham. Just that's about right. So, again, you could probably swizzle it and get away with it. But the neato thing is, with this particular, at least with this brand of sugar I'm using, it dissolves pretty quick. So again, 2 ounces of coffee, 6 ounces of cola, 2 tablespoons of sugar, or in this case, 2 lumps. Stir and enjoy. This is far more, I don't want to say far more balanced, but what this has done, this puts the coffee flavor that you're kind of going after and puts it more into the background. You will still taste it, it's still there, but rather than, and again, this is going to depend on what kind of coffee you get, but since I tend to use I use a light roast, and I have a very good coffee coming out of Ethiopia on this one. This, from my side, I get the cola first, then I'm getting the coffee. The sugar is still there, so I'm still very, very true to to what Amir said. It's not as in the back of your mouth, the back of the mouthfeel. This is actually quite smooth. The flavor, especially from the coffee, becomes a lot more subtle, but it is there. Now, you could adjust this to how you want. So I think if I were to make a further adjustment, I would do 3 ounces of coffee. Again, this is more to taste at this point. I tried to design this. I tried to design this one so if you might be a little bit more sensitive to coffee taste, or you might not, or maybe you want less coffee, you could get away with it. So 2 ounces of coffee, 6 ounces of cola, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and this is what you'll get. I had like 6 of these already. Not today, but within the last 24 hours. So, now I have another version of this drink. We're going to follow the same process, but we're going to add something a little special. And this is for the adults. And if your kid does manage to drink this, well, at least they'll be sleeping good tonight. So again, 2 ounces. Two sugar cubes. Let's top off that ice a little bit. 6 ounces of cola. Nice. Count along with me. 5. 3. 4. 5. 6. So 6 ounces. And now for the adult part, we're going to do a rum. Use a clear rum, or crystal rum, white rum, whatever you really want to call it, as long as it is not spiced. And that's key. So we're going to do 1 ounce of rum. Now I designed that this is just 1 ounce because I made this particularly so the rum is more of a background note. So again, 1 ounce of rum, that's just purely so it would be more of a background note. You're not going to taste it as much, or if at all. This is a drink for those who really don't like alcohol, the taste of alcohol, but still want something to enjoy. It would be with entirely good reason and good sense to add another shot of rum, another 1 ounce. So 1 to 2 ounces, well, you can call that one to taste. But this actually turns out to be really good. And actually, truth be told, this is my favorite version of the drink. And not just because there's rum in it. Now the rum adds a little something to it. Now, when the non-alcoholic version of Amir's Sedative, it does seem to taste like there's something missing. Lord and behold, I found the missing ingredient, quote unquote. I'm using a Cuban rum. Excuse me. So now I'm getting nice subtle hits of coffee. I'm getting Coke, and I'm also getting the rum. Again, the coffee has taken a lot more of a background because you don't taste it right off the bat. It's a sneaky flavor. Now, I'm going to make this again, but this time I'm going to bump up the coffee. So there's going to be a bit of a difference. And if you're making this at home, again, this is a real loose. This is just to give you a general idea. Make according to your flavor. Do what you like, please. And then either make a video about it, or make a post about it, or let me know. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitch. I know I have a blue sky, but I don't remember what it is from the top of my head. It probably has the same name as my YouTube channel and my Twitch. So just search me. Let me know. Ooh, excuse me. Let it sit for a moment. I'm going to say this. Let it sit for a moment. And you will have the coffee actually come out a little bit more. I also have, I have a bit of a beard mustache, so it's like I'm waiting for what's on my beard to stop. Or rather, what's on my quote-unquote mustache to stop dripping down. I can actually speak better. But to me, this is fine as it is. I can taste the rum. The flavor is there. And if you wanted to, you could substitute the rum with the vodka. Vodka tends to be a very neutral flavor, so it tends to play well with almost anything you want. But I do sincerely and genuinely like this version of the drink. I mean, like this version of Amir's Sedative. It says it calms him down, it calms his anxiousness. He's a vault, so this does make sense. But I think in a normal person, it might make it worse. But then again, though, the alcohol as a depressive agent, I can see that happening. And with that alcohol, that's why we can call it a Amir's Sedative. But let's make a slightly altered version. And as I said, follow along, please. Let me know what you're thinking so far. There's now a lot of sugar on the bottom. It hasn't dissolved. But that's okay. So, refresh the ice. I'm gonna be feeling good today. What was my order of operation? So, before I said 2 ounces, we're gonna bump that up to 3, so we can kind of bring that a little bit more to the front. 1, 2, 3. I almost decided to go 4 for some strange reason. 2 lumps of sugar. And then we're going to do 6 ounces of cola. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 more. Not quite. 6. One ounce of clear rum. Again, just make sure it's not spiced. So essentially, this becomes more of an offshoot of rum and coke. it just becomes rum, Coke, and coffee. Yep. Alright, so I bumped up the coffee a little bit as you saw, so let's give this one a taste. Okay, I like this a little bit more. But again, this is just fine tuning and according to my taste. Your sense of taste is going to be your sense of taste. As Parental Floss once put about, what is it, Super Mario Sunshine? There's no accounting for taste. Same kind of concept here. But, as a general guideline, this is pretty good. Now, that extra ounce of coffee does help bring that flavor to more towards the front. Nice things, it doesn't linger. It kind of does a little bit, but not by much. The Coke pretty much disappears. Coffee's there. No, Coke disappears. The rum's kind of fading with it. And then you have a little bit of the coffee left. Neat little layer. Going in for a long drink. Yeah, I'm not saying anything new on that one. The long drink, you kind of do get more of the flavors mix. It's actually pretty good. If I'm just making this for myself, I would make the adjustment and go 3 ounces of coffee, 6 ounces of cola, 1 ounce of rum, 2 lumps of sugar. If I were to be making this for guests or other people, then I'm going back to 2 ounces of coffee, 1 ounce of rum, 6 ounces of cola, and again, 2 lumps of sugar. I think that 2 ounces of coffee just would be good for almost everyone in general. But that's just according to my sense of taste. If you don't like coffee, then just go rum and Coke with 2 lumps of sugar. I got nothing else for you. But to the lovely folks at Digital Extremes and the people who've worked on Warframe past and present, I thank you so much for producing the game and giving me something actually to work with on this. I don't know if you guys are actually intending for people to make this drink and to drink it, or maybe you might have had somebody on your team who decided to do this and said, hey, we should throw this into the game. Amir needs something. But this was fun to make, and this was fun to do. So, I may or may not be making cocktails based on different Warframes. There's one I'm kind of working with right now. I'm just debating on the flavor profile. I won't drop any more hints, just in case I don't end up actually doing this. However, though, again, thank you to the lovely people at Digital Extremes and for all the hard work you've put into it. It's been a joy and is still an absolute blast to play. Thank you. So, enough of the mushy stuff. I'm going to go ahead and finish this off because I don't let coffee or rum go to waste. This is Happy Puppy, signing out, signing off, and knocking one.